Former Congolese Vice President Jean-Pierre Bemba is behind bars after being convicted and sentenced by the International Criminal Court. But to some, Bemba's sentencing has only reignited the accusations of the court's alleged anti-African bias. My colleague Paul Sisco has more.
Jean-Pierre Bemba, a former military commander, vice president, Congolese presidential candidate, and now convicted war crimes criminal.
Mr. Bemba's failure to take action was deliberately aimed at encouraging the attack directed against the civilian population.
The International Court sentenced Bemba to a total of 18 years in prison, finding him guilty as charged and responsible for the murder, rape, and pillaging by his Ugandan-supported troops in the Central African Republic in 2002 and 2003. Judge Sylvia Steiner read the unanimous verdict.
Murder as a war crime, 16 years of imprisonment. Murder as a crime against humanity, 16 years imprisonment. Rape as a war crime, 18 years of imprisonment. Rape as a crime against humanity, 18 years of imprisonment. And pillaging as a war crime, 16 years of imprisonment.
The conviction on the principle of command responsibility is unprecedented for the International Criminal Court. Bemba is also the first person convicted by a global war crimes court for crimes of sexual violence.
We aimed to hold accountable those most responsible for the serious crimes, including sexual and gender-based crimes, committed against the civilian population in the country. What this decision affirms is that commanders are responsible for the acts of the forces under their control. They have an obligation to set the necessary standards for their troops and to ensure they do not commit atrocities.
Bemba is the first person to be held directly responsible for crimes committed by his soldiers. Bemba's Movement for the Liberation of Congo Party, the MLC, grew from his rebel army. His supporters say the trial was motivated by his long-standing opposition to Congolese President Joseph Kabila. Bemba lost a close and contested vote for president to Mr. Kabila in 2006. Many African governments have accused the ICC of unfairly targeting its leaders. The ICC denies the bias. The court was created in 2002 as a court of last resort, intervening when national authorities do not, and bringing to trial those responsible for the worst crimes against humanity. 9 of the 10 conflicts under investigation by the ICC are in Africa. Cases are referred by the UN Security Council, a ratifying state, or the court itself. More than a quarter of the signatories to the court are African states. In 2014, the African Union granted immunity to sitting heads of state. The court's first verdict in March 2012 was against Thomas Lubanga. The Congolese warlord is now serving 14 years in jail. The Ivory Coast former President Laurent Gbagbo was first brought before the court in 2011. The ICC is still seeking Ugandan rebel leader Joseph Kony, and there is an outstanding warrant for Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir. The United States, adding to the accusations of bias, is a permanent member of the UN Security Council. It supports the International Criminal Court's jurisdiction, but it is not a signatory to the Rome Statute establishing it. Paul Sisco, VOA News.